Dumbledore was the most powerful wizard in the wizarding world. He stood between evil and good, keeping Voldemort at bay. But one fatal night, that protection was obliterated. The Order was shaken, and Hogwarts would never be the same again. This was a moment that changed everything, and here's why. Before we talk about Dumbledore's death, we need to set the scene. We need to talk about how we got to the situation where Dumbledore actually died. So Dumbledore was all-powerful. He was a headmaster of Hogwarts and seemed to be the guy that the barrier in between Lord Voldemort getting to Harry, and seemed to be the person that was stepping in between them and evil. And Dumbledore knew that Harry eventually would have to kill Voldemort, but he put off Voldemort as long as he possibly could and acted as a barrier to protect Harry and the rest of the Order as long as he possibly could, to give Harry time. That time to grow, to learn, and to finally become the person that he always suspected that he was. However, Harry didn't know that at the time. Harry didn't know that Dumbledore was trying to build him up to be the guy that would eventually defeat Voldemort. All he knew was that Dumbledore was a good fatherly figure to him, and took him under his wing several times and felt like he was a guy to learn off. And what he didn't realise was that Dumbledore was always putting plans in place for people to look out for it. Snape, McGonagall and other members of the Order, including Lupin, to look after Harry amongst his journey in Hogwarts. However, that fragile wall that was just being held on by a thread was about to crumble. Seemingly, Dumbledore and Harry look like they've gotten a win. They've found a Horcrux, they've brought it back, and now Dumbledore is weakened. But that is not to fear, because now they're going to track down the others and to weaken Voldemort some more and maybe potentially destroy this Horcrux. However, all that would go to waste, as when Dumbledore stepped in that Astronomy Tower, that would be one of the last actions he would ever take. As Draco Malfoy meets him there, and even though he can't get the job done, one man does. Severus Snape uses the Avada Kedavra spell and sends Dumbledore flying over the Astronomy Tower. This was the moment that changed the wizarding world forever, because nothing would ever be the same again when Dumbledore laid on the ground at the bottom of the Astronomy Tower. The aftermath of Dumbledore's death was massive. Severus Snape looked like he'd betrayed everybody, including the Order and Harry as well. It felt like the ultimate betrayal, and felt like the power had now switched from the good side to the bad. As Dumbledore was gone, the protection was gone, and the bad side of Voldemort, the Death Eaters and a load of others were seemingly getting stronger and stronger. And now with Dumbledore out the way, it seemed to be like a walk in the park for Voldemort to handpick and cherry pick whoever he wanted to kill. As Muggles were disappearing, Cornelius Fudge disappeared as well, which left the Ministry of Magic in absolute disarray. And then it became who to trust and who not to trust, as the Ministry of Magic also decided to team up with Lord Voldemort, because now there was no real president or leader in the Ministry of Magic either. It seemed to be that all the Order had disappeared and had tried to go into hiding because they knew that they were next on Voldemort's hit list. This was the ultimate thing where Harry had to make a decision. He would either die at the hands of Lord Voldemort or grow up, find the Horcruxes and take down Lord Voldemort once and for all, and obviously that's what he had to do. Him, Ron and Hermione did not return back to Hogwarts. They had to go on a trip to find these Horcruxes, and even though they thought they had a massive win with the one that Harry and Dumbledore thought they'd collected, that turned out to be a fake, and they were back to ground zero. That massive win turned into a massive failure, and that not only weakened Dumbledore, but that also sent him over the Astronomy Tower. If you enjoyed breaking down the exact moments where franchises, series changed for either the better, for the worse, then don't forget to subscribe, as this is Everything Changed, and you want to be alerted to our next episode. Dumbledore wasn't just the headmaster of Hogwarts like it seemed to be. He was the glue holding together the brick wall that was in front of Harry and in front of Voldemort, and from keeping the war from exploding then and there. Dumbledore seemed to be the last line of defense. When he was gone, all hell broke loose, and the war materialized into something that would never get put back into the bottle. This was a moment that everything changed, and not for the better.